idea that each of the kill zones have their own stage of delivery, and you'll normally see a reversal in one of the three. Then you can use the New York kill zone as continuation, or you can use the PM session kill zone, obviously as reversal, continuation, whatever the other three did. So I like to just use the Asian and London and use that as context for the New York. Obviously, then that's when you link time. So if you're looking at the 15-minute chart, we look at a Wednesday, this is a very clean setup, I think. We dug right into a discount PD array on the 15 as expected, and then we can use time. So obviously 8:30 will create that first entry. Now that's a volatility entry, right? So we got to be careful entering on 8:30, but 8:30 is an entry time. Then after that, we have the 8:50 to 9:10 macro. After that, we have 9:30 volatility. Then we have the 9:50 to 10:10 macro. And then as we get closer and closer to 10:30 and 11, we have to be careful of a session reversal. So although there are going to be some days where 10:30 creates the low, there's going to be some days where 11 a.m. creates the low. Now you can use the 15-minute gap. Obviously, whatever your target is going to be evident of where we're going to reverse. So like at this case, right at 10:30, we're digging into the PD array that we had marked out on Wednesday. I would assume then that we're not going to just continue selling off going into 11, and we have to be careful of reversal. And then obviously you can use the 10:50 to 11:10 macro as a scalp and then draw out your fib. And then typically by the end of the AM session, or at least by lunch, we are going to trade into that range again. And you can use that as a target. Extend this out, trades back up into it. Obviously meanders around, then we have a lunch session. So study that, okay? Kind of something you can look for. So here's the 950 macro. Expansion into 10 a.m., then retracement 10 to 10:20 that continues higher. Thoughts? Normally I would like that, yeah. But with the 8:30 news, we have to be careful of 10 a.m. putting the high of the session. So, I mean, for now, if we extend this out, we have a breaker in here. If we zoom out slightly, you can see the breaker, right? Low, high, lower, low. We're tapping into that fair value gap and the order block here. So I feel comfortable going long off that. I would just need to see at least a tap into preferably this down closing candle here. That's what's preferred. I would like to go, yeah, long into 10 o'clock. I want to see how we bounce off this 5-minute order block, because this 5-minute BISI with the order block here is of interest to me. I mean, you can see the relative equal buy setup here, right? Very, very smooth highs from settlement close, Asian, London, and New York, or right before New York. Very, very smooth highs. But then you can also see the breaker and the SIBI in here, which would be a unicorn setup. And if we were bearish for the AM session, it would make sense that you'd want to see continuation down into this gap. Now, down into this gap for the rest of the AM session is definitely a far move. Right, it's another 149, 50 points lower, especially after this large run up, unless you want to see this as a Judas swing, which I think that's quite a large Judas swing, right? And you see the candle buys there holding the order block on the 5-minute. If you can close above that tiny 1-minute SIBI, no, it's not SIBI, bearish order block right in here. I'm watching to see how we respect that. Just wicked off of it, and we're expanding up. So there, see how that 1-minute order block did not hold? Obviously, it's not going to be high probability, but we are respecting that 5-minute and we're trading through in a bearish point of interest. Now we have to be careful around this kind of point where there's no trading, but you can see we're expanding up quickly. So you could be looking at AM high, we could be looking at the buy side. I just scalped it. It was nothing I'm super confident about taking right here, but if you want to see the execution, I just went long slightly right off that breaker of the order block and then just scalp 20. You could be targeting this high, but with this gap here, I was kind of hesitant. Anyways, we do have a super sell side here at 10:30. Preferably, if this can be left open, actually, if this little portion right here can be left open, that'd be very nice. That'd be an inversion gap that forms at the bottom, similar to this right here. See, this kind of fractal is similar, like a very sharp reversal, V shape on untraded inversion gap. So we're starting to get it there. That's nice. And we have this tiny breaker in here. Okay, this last up closing candle would be your change in state. Then you could be looking for this high. I would look at this as your Judas swing potentially, especially if you can trade above this candle here. Then we have no gaps, so just look for, we may not even get a retracement. It could just be something like this. Very quick acceleration up. Watch this down closing candle here too. If we can support that, we have a breaker here and we have this order block. Nice expansion. Look for this high, and then obviously the 17, what is this? 17, 646 level. We also have SMT with this consolidation too, right? Sweeps it there at 1032. The lower looking at is 1009. 1009 here. Another section of SMT at the lows. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I told you, right? We're going to see speed. No retracement there. I took a little demo stab long there. I'm targeting the last contract on for 17,646. We have a low, a high, a lower low. That would be your breaker in here, right? So this last up closing range is now become your bullish breaker. You do have one here, right? That's correct. If you're looking at this tiny market maker model. Then we zoom out maybe to the 3-minute. We have another breaker right here. Right? So now this gap that's layered on top of it should be quite strong. You probably have a stop at the low end of the breaker and be fine. I got my stop all the way in break even, basically at 20 points. And there's your buy, the first buy side here swept. Oh, come on. there's that buy side. I'm looking for the high of yesterday, 449. But I mean, I guess we got. Let me send the screenshot of this other trade. I took it on the micros just because we already took a 20-point win. So let me screenshot this really quickly. That's not what I wanted to screenshot. And there's your high. And all during just a random time, I think. It's kind of random, right? 10:30 to 10:45. Nothing important there. This is why I just trade during the macro times. There's really nothing outside of these macro times that you really need other than the volatility injections, which I'm fine with missing.